Hello and welcome back to the Cuber's Corner. This is episode 2, and today we're talking to Kate Grahame, who happens to be the female world record holder for 5, 6, and 7 single and average, and we're going to get some insight into what cubing life for her is like, what some of her favorite things are, and there will be an interesting take on the Yao versus reduction debate in there as well. Probably the best advice I've been given for Yao versus reduction. So stay tuned and let's get right into this. Enjoy. Alrighty, so we'll start off. What is your favorite event?
My favorite event is 7x7 because it has the most freedom out of any big cube. I like big cubes obviously, but 7x7 has like the most freedom and room for creativity. I know a lot of people don't like this, but I don't mean to be mean, but honestly, it's a skill issue. Like stuff like center building and last four edges is pretty daunting and like hard to get used to at first, but there's a lot of really creative things you can do with it, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I like big cubes as well, so I would generally agree. I'm very slow. Next question. What is the first cube that you owned, if you remember?
The first cube I owned was a Rubik's brand that I got for Christmas in 2016.
All right,
Pretty generic.
that seems to be the standard answer. Um, what is your favorite cubing moment? It could be something that happened to you, something that you witnessed happened, anything that you consider your favorite.
Probably my favorite was when I got my 41.54 5x5 single at US Nationals 2023. That was uh on a live stream, it was PR by 3 seconds, really pretty close to overall PB at the time. And it's actually still my PR now. I really need to beat that, but um no, yeah, that was just my favorite moment because there was just like so much energy in the room at the moment, and like everyone was hyping me up, and I just really felt like I did something amazing, I guess.
Awesome.
And honestly, yeah, part of it is that also that just Nets was like my favorite comp ever. I think that kind of just added to it.
Nice. Okay, next, what is your favorite part about the cubing community?
So my favorite part about the community is like the fact that like no one like judges people based on their skill, or like it's very uncommon at least. Like people like can be friends from all different skill ranges, all different like walks. Yeah, I guess that's my favorite part. I
Right.
don't have too much of a nuanced answer for this.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the pressure that you do get from the community is it's all positive pressure too. It's probably
Yeah.
just as daunting at the level you compete at, but it's positive, so that's good. Okay, so these next questions, these are the ones that are more specific to like you personally. So you just set new 6x6 female world records, which is awesome. How
Thank
did
you.
that feel, and how important was it for you to take back the single?
Um, Getting the single was like pretty important because, well, also part of it is that my PR single before that was 118.7, which was really bad for me considering my mean was 122, and I knew I was capable of a much better single. So I did, but getting FWR back was also really nice because that was the only record 5 through 7 that I was missing for like 11 months, I think. Like I had all the others and I just couldn't get 6x6 single, and I finally just PR by 4 seconds, got it, and now we're good. The mean was like really surprising to be honest. I'd been practicing a decent amount of six before this comp, so I thought it might go pretty well, but I didn't think it would go like this well. Like
Right.
I didn't think I would overcome my comp nerves that well, like on basically the first comp after like grinding six.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that means NR2 as well, right?
It is.
Right.
I always knew like NR2 before was 119.7, and there were like 10 people capable of that. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of different people that could do that. I just didn't think I would be the one to get it first. Like I know there are people that are like globally faster than me at 6x6 and care about 6x6 more than I do. Like 'cause I've always been more partial to seven,
Right.
but I guess I kind of had a breakthrough on six. So
And
yeah,
and that's
it's
crazy
pretty cool.
that's crazy to think about because that means that the only person in America faster than you is Max Park.
hmm It's also funny that I'm still second in California for yeah,
Uh,
but it is what it is.
we have to move somewhere else, I guess. All right, next. So you're registered for World Championships, right?
Yep.
Right. What goals do you have for that, if any?
My goals, my main goal is to just have a really fun time. Like I want to hopefully make it like my best comp, like my favorite comp ever. I think it has a good shot. I just want to like meet a lot of different international cubers or like friends that I have from different countries that I've never met before. Um, but as for like results, I guess I don't really have that many goals, but I do want to make 7x7 finals. If not, then six, like one of the two. If I make a world's finals, I'll be very happy. That's all I really want.
Fair enough. And I guess this kind of segues into the next question. What does practice look like for you, especially leading up to a comp that big?
So I don't do too much different, particularly leading up to like big comps. I suppose I should try to do more comp sims. I think that's really something I need to work on doing more of. Um, but practicing mostly for me is like either just like sitting down and doing like on-time solves to practice efficiency, doing regular solves or doing like lower time solves to like clean up my turning if it's just really not feeling good on a particular day because my turning can get pretty ugly sometimes and I'm just trying to straighten that out.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Um, what advice would you have for people who are aspiring to be as good as at big cubes as you are?
Um, Definitely practice, obviously. I think that's advice for getting good at any event, but um try to do untimed solves and just like look at a lot of different options for solving different cases, see how that would affect other pieces on the cube, and just like try to come up with creative solutions. And also definitely watch walkthrough solves because you can also pick up on a lot of that by just watching people like watching solves from people who are really good.
Right. And I've been researching like lately because I've been trying to get better at some of the big cubes, as well. Like I've been researching a lot about like splits and stuff, and I was wondering like, do you have any opinions on like splits personally, or
My hot take is that splits are really unimportant. They do not matter nearly as much as people make them out to be. I think splits are just a matter of whether you're better at like centers or edges. Um, and I don't think it's really something you should worry about too much. Just kind of get to the speed you want to get to, see what your splits are. If anything is like really off, like you're way better at centers than edges, or you're like way better at edges than centers, um, first of all, consider whether you use Yao or Redux. Like if you're better at centers, you should use Yao. If you're better at edges, you should use Redux. Like if any of them are really off, like consider changing methods. But also, like I guess that gives you a like starting point for like what you need to work on. But like yeah, unless your splits are really whack, I think they're pretty unimportant.
fair enough. That's kind of what I gathered too. Is it's a good starting place to figure out where to practice. And you kind of answer. I was going to ask you about your thoughts on Yao versus Redux, so you kind of answered that.
Yeah.
Because that's a big debate I've been going through in my head a lot lately. But I think I'm switching
Mhm.
to Yao for 5 and then Redux for everything bigger than that.
Nice.
But um, all right, so moving on here.
I
Oh, you have something else to add?
all right.
Oh, of
I do
course.
think Yao is straight up better on five. Like I
Yeah,
don't think Redux on five is viable, but on six on seven, it's good if you're good at edges.
Right. Yeah. On five with Redux, I average closer to like 110ish at home, and like 120 in comp. But
Right.
Yao, I'm terrible. I'm like averaging like 130s.
Ah,
So it's like I'm like I know I should definitely work on Yao, but it's like but Redux I'm faster. So it's like but yeah.
I mean, there's always just going to be that initial hurdle of
Mhm.
switching that you just kind of got to get over.
Yeah. I've kind of
But
been
yeah,
using the Max Park uses it defense, but I don't know how much longer I can hold off.
it's
All right. Moving
um,
on to something that it definitely interests me. More than some of the other stuff, to be honest. As one of the fastest female cubers like in the world, like, do you feel like you're a role model for other female cubers, and like, how do you go about dealing with that, and not necessarily dealing with it, but if that makes sense, but just like being that for other people, and like, does it change how you do anything or whatever?
right. I I guess I kind of am like a role model. I just like try my best to like uh I don't know, just like be nice to people at comps or whatever and like I don't know. I honestly haven't thought about it that much.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I was just curious because like I feel like there's not too many women in cubing, at least not on my
Yeah.
end of thing. Like we don't see them very often a lot on the East Coast at the comps
Mhm.
I go to, so I just was curious about that. But that's pretty much everything I got. Unless there's anything you want to add or throw in.
Not particularly.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, and I really appreciate you answering these questions for us today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Alrighty, that was epic. A huge thanks to Kate for coming and talking to us. Make sure you subscribe to her YouTube and follow her Instagram. I'll link those down below. And yeah, just again, a huge thanks. And stay tuned for episode number 3, where we're going to talk to a WCA delegate and we're going to get a better insight into how being a delegate works and what life is like for them. Peace.